in the physical world, it's the equivalent of how many people walk into your shop and buy. If you have the wrong website, most likely out of 10 people that walk into your shop, only one buys.
That was Ilir of Slice. And it's your boy, Ilir, and you're listening to the What's Good Dough podcast. Whether it's pizza, business, or life, my guest and I are always talking about ways we can level up. In this conversation, we talk about collective bargaining power. Do you ever wonder why Domino's and Pizza Hut can get all these supplies for cheap? It's because they buy so much of it. So we talk about how you as an independent restaurant owner can get the cost of your boxes lower. We also talk about websites, conversions, how all of that is key to running a business. But sometimes at the end of the day, you as an independent owner have so many things going on in the background that you can't do it yourself. So does it make sense for you to partner with a platform like Slice to get all that necessary work done? I think this is one of the more eye-opening episodes that I've sat down for in a while, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And remember to always ask, what's good, dough? Welcome to the What's Good Dough podcast, and get ready to level up. But before we continue with the show, I want to introduce you to my two show sponsors, Uni Pizza Ovens and Cordo Olive Oil. Let's start with Uni. They are the #1 pizza oven company in the world with the best community there is. Because of their ovens, I have made some of the most amazing pizzas. From round pies to squares, I'm able to get to temperatures of up to 900 degrees, allowing me to cook the pizzas of my dreams. If you're looking to grow your pizza business, buying an Uni makes sense. My past guest Ryan of Sanctuary Pizza has a mobile catering company powered by Uni. These powerful ovens are efficient, lightweight, and can be used almost anywhere. Whether you take pizza seriously like me or want to run a pizza operation like Ryan, Uni is the choice for you. Use the link in the show notes and join the Uni community. My second show sponsor is Cordo Olive Oil. At first, I didn't believe that olive oil mattered. It wasn't until I got educated and learned about the difference between commodity oil and Cordo's fresh squeezed olive oil that I ditched the supermarket stuff. Today, I only use Cordo olive oil when it comes to making my dough and even doing a post-bake drizzle. I have even made some amazing pesto with it. Oh my goodness. Cordo's high-quality olive oil does really elevate anything it touches. My buddy Chris, who runs A Slice of New Jersey, just switched over to Cordo. Not only is he getting quality, but he ended up saving money by switching over too. If you're still unsure of the difference, pizza operators can sign up for a free olive oil tasting. Use the link in the show notes to learn more. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my show sponsors and supporting this show. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I am excited to bring on today's guests. I have Ilir of Slice, the Slice app. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited to chat.
Cool. Me too. Ilir is not a operator of a pizzeria. He's not a blogger. I think you're the first person that I have that's created an app, an ecosystem, a platform. Uni has been on, but like their primary thing has been ovens. And so you're the first like real tech person, I think.
Yeah, I would say ecosystem is a good word. Ecosystem, and we'll get into why. But yeah, proud to be on here. I think it's important for pizza operators and people in the industry to kind of perhaps hear from different perspectives, from different angles of the industry, but all focused on the same stuff, which is how to make local shops successful.
Before we get into the weeds, though, there is this one question that I always ask in starting the show. You're smiling. I hope you know what it is. What's coming. There's no right or wrong answer. What's good dough?
I didn't know it was coming. I did not know it was coming. So give me more context. Is it just open-ended?
Open-ended. There's no one way to take it. And maybe to give you more context, just to be fair,
Sure.
What's good dough in a literal sense, or what's good dough kind of like slang, like what's good though. So it's really up to you on how you want to interpret the question.
Yeah, I got it. What's good though? What's good is that um, I am incredibly excited for the pizza industry, specifically the independent pizza industry, which I believe is now coming off of a very challenging COVID period that tested its resiliency, but proved to the world how much of a staple pizza is because so many of these shops remained open. Many became incredibly successful during that time period. And I think that is now leading into this uh, phase of like a massive renaissance in small business openings that I think will happen over the next 2 to 5 years. So what's good though is just the pizza industry is just good. Um, it is a staple. It's resilient. It's recession proof. And I'm just really proud to be a part of the community.
What makes you say that? Is this like an observation, or is this like you eating at a pizzeria every day, or do you have something else that gives you the confidence in making that statement?
It's a combination of what I want the world to be like, but also we have um, a first sort of view into the data of the industry because of the scale of our platform. But look, I've been in this space for in some capacity my entire life. My family ran pizza shops, throughout my life, and operating this business for 10 years plus. And what you realize is that the reason why pizza is such a massive category, just for context, people probably know this, but I'll share it. You have about $47 billion in sales that pass through 77,000 pizza shops in the US every year. And there's no category that's even close in terms of QSRs or what we call limited service restaurants. Like there's nothing else close to pizza. It's probably half of the takeout delivery market. And the reason why it exists and why it's at that scale is because it is a product that is made for off premise consumption. It is a really well balanced product that happens to be delicious. That's an important part. I know it, but it has to be really good. And it is absolutely part of the value category for the consumer. And so when you think about it, there's a pizza shop in every single neighborhood in the country. And these pizza shops are there for people when they need them. They're there during challenging times because you can order a large pizza, cheese pizza, my favorite, for pickup or delivery for less than $20, and you could feed a family of four. And you can feed that family of four with a well balanced meal, and a meal that is in essence bringing people together. It's probably one of the only social, food categories. So I think a collection of these reasons make pizza just the undisputed champion of what consumers, enjoy in their homes on a weekly basis. And so for that reason, I think it just continues to be. Um, it is like cereal. It is a staple in the country for sure.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the Slice app? Maybe the history of it, what it did in the beginning, and what it does today.
Most people know us as the Slice app, which is one of our products. That is the one that most consumers interact with because that is the what I call the community app. This is an app where all of your local favorites are can be found in one place. You can save them, and then you can reorder from your local favorites without having to call, without having to go and search Google, without having to pay some premium, without paying all these crazy fees. So the Slice app is in essence where the entire pizza community comes together from a shop standpoint, and then the consumer can select their three or four favorites. That's something that I think most shop owners have to accept, is that the consumer that is a loyal customer of their shop is typically loyal to about three or four different places. And yeah, so that's the Slice app. To zoom back out, what we're trying to do, and the reason why I started the business, is because I want to make sure that we live in a world 50 years from now that is incredibly authentic and colorful and diverse and full of independent makers. So that the debate of what's the best pizza can live on, so that new innovations can happen and so on and so forth. And uh, what I learned firsthand was that independent operators have a natural disadvantage in the market compared to the big chains like Domino's or Pizza Hut or Papa John's. And the disadvantage is scale. An independent operator, like my uncle or my brother-in-law, or whoever, they are operating the business alone. While they happen to be great makers, they are not great marketers. Maybe some are, but they're not going to have all these tools collectively at a very high strength. So you've got to do marketing, you've got to do some finance or accounting, you've got to manage technology, online ordering, point of sale. You've got to look at all the data. You've got to retarget your customers. You have to make the food. You have to answer the phone. Delivery driver didn't show up, so you have to go and deliver food. That always happens. Unforeseen events, um, and then that's the way an independent operator works. Also, their lack of scale means that they're paying the highest prices possible across the board. So they're paying high prices on pizza boxes and cheese and sauce and all the good things. Why? Because they're buying for one location. They're paying a premium on platforms, third-party marketplaces like DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub. Why? Because they have no negotiating power. And they're paying a premium for labor and so on and so forth. You know who's not paying a premium is Papa John's or Domino's or some of these other brands. In fact, it's known Papa John's, which also is present in DoorDash and Uber Eats and Grubhub, pays almost nothing to be on that platform. Why? Because they negotiate as a collective. They negotiate as a brand, and so all the franchisees either collectively say yes or no, and they have buying power. They're paying low prices on pizza boxes because they're buying in bulk for all these locations, and so on and so forth. And so I'm telling this story because I realized this firsthand, and what I thought was, okay, in order for an operator to launch a business in this industry, they have two choices. They could either do it alone and accept all of these disadvantages, or they can be part of a chain like Pizza Hut or Papa John's or Domino's and get a lot of advantages, but they have to give up their creative freedom. So they have to be homogenous in terms of the product. And so what's been happening is more and more locations opening up are part of these franchise models. And so we were gradually getting to a point where the only pizza available to the consumer would be like Domino's pizza. And that's a very sad world. And I also think most people who open up a small business do it because they have a passion for the craft and they want to share their recipes with the world. Um, so Slice exists to bring the same benefits of that franchise model to independents while we champion the authenticity and the uniqueness of each brand. And so imagine if you are part of the Slice ecosystem as a pizzeria owner, you get all of these benefits, all of these advantages. That you get the economies of scale, while Slice champions the uniqueness of your brand, and helps you operate. And in essence, as we say, be in business for yourself, not by yourself. So what that means more practically is we instantly set up shops with a website, online ordering. We've got a point of sale product called Slice Register that lowers the cost of payment processing. And then we've got relationships with Google and Facebook and Instagram to give them access to third-party ordering through these channels. And then finally, we've got the Slice app, which is more of the direct-to-consumer product that most people know us as. Behind the scenes, ton of operational products that help pizzerias operate more efficiently. And we do a lot of marketing on their behalf. We'll retarget customers. We'll get them to come back and order more frequently. we'll help them order more food and so on and so forth. So it's like, for an independent shop, instantly hiring 1,000 people to work for them, to do all these tasks so that they can focus on the things that they know how to do best.
I am blown away. Really. A little bit about me for a quick second. I run this Clubhouse room. Are you familiar with the app Clubhouse?
Yes. Yep.
Every Wednesday night, it's called the Home Pizza Making Idea Exchange. And during the pandemic, we were just talking about how operators were getting hit because of the increased costs in like cheese and tomatoes when it was spiking so hard. And like one of the things that I mentioned to the group, because I come from a labor background, so I handle negotiations. I talk about collective bargaining. Is that why don't we start forming associations with pizza makers, and or just even bring up the idea of like a mini union? And like people kind of like scoffed at that idea because when you hear union and independent business owners, they don't really mesh. But when you talk about like the economies of scale and making that an advantage and putting that, I guess, opportunity for independents to save money, have all these resources at the click of a button, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a look, and I understand why a union, as an example, may not be something that's very appealing for an independent operator who really just wants to focus on their own business. And so I think what's been really awesome that our team has done a really great job at unlocking is this idea that, hey, like, by being a member of that Slice ecosystem, it's not about getting in the same room with all these shop owners and like losing that sense of competition. It's really about being a member of this Slice community and what benefits can be unlocked if if Slice can go to bat for you as a shop owner. And so the example I can give is most recently we launched a product called The Goods, and The Goods is focused on packaging. We have lowered the cost of pizza boxes, 16-inch, bundles, from what a typical shop is paying right now is about $30 to $35 per bundle. Um, we've lowered the cost to $20, and we're not marking it up. It's that's the cost that we've been able to get, and we're also making it available with delivery. And so, any shops in these geographies where we have these opportunities, a small warehouse in essence, can just order a bundle of pizza boxes or many bundles at $20 per, and in essence, they're saving 33 to 50% per bundle by simply being part of Slice versus if they weren't and they were ordering on their own, it'd be much more challenging.
That's a perfect example. And that's kind of what I was alluding to with just having that collective bargaining being, or just any sort of negotiations, is those little things that you save on add up over time, right? $5 for a bundle here. I mean, how many bundles are you going through in a month? And those, I guess, when you were talking about Papa John's paying, virtually nothing to be on DoorDash, I think it was the Square Pie guys, Danny, one of the partners there, told us that one of the reasons why they succeeded so well in the pandemic was that they negotiated a exceptional rate with their delivery provider. I think it was Caviar at the time. And they went exclusive. And so by doing that, they were able to get to they were able to very much save on their costs of delivery. And again, adds up over time, can make or break you in some businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a huge fan of the Square Pie guys. I know them well, and um, we talk on a not as often as I'd like, but we've had a number of conversations. I think there are opportunities where you can lower the cost of delivery and whatnot. In their case, I think they do have a pretty important brand in the market they're in San Francisco and Oakland. I think they now have 2 or 3 shops. But the the important thing that these marketplaces have identified is that they know who are the busier independent shops, and then they'll try and lock them into an exclusivity because they want access to all those customers so that they can resell those customers to other products. And so, yeah, if you have a lot of volume as an independent, that is leverage, but very few shops in San Francisco, as an example, or other markets, have the volume that Square Pie Guys has. And I think just the business background that they have because they've worked in the industry in other capacities. Um, so it's an interesting point. I think it's I would just say be careful about just ask yourself why would a company like DoorDash want me to be exclusive, and what are they doing with the customers that are passing through the platform? Where are they going, and what does it lead to for my business?
Yeah, and I think the reality of it is that not everyone's going to get asked that, or not everyone's going to get a special offer, right? Most of the time, if they can't negotiate anything, it's because, like you said, they're not doing the business that these other platforms want, and so it's like you get to pay as much as we want to charge you. Whereas Slice, you all have a flat fee model, is that right?
Yeah, Slice is simply flat fee per order. In essence, it covers the cost of us managing the order. We are a managed service, so the owner doesn't have to think about customer service or anything like that. So what's included is you get all of the platform, the technology, the website, the app, the CRM marketing, access to this buying power that we spoke about, all for this flat per order fee. It's capped. We don't charge a fee for orders that are less than $10 because we just feel like that would be uh, too disproportionately unfair to the owner. So imagine like an order comes in that's $6. I don't want to charge, our $2 plus fee. Um, and so it's capped at $2.50. And it covers everything that has to do with one order. It includes, again, the technology, the customer service, and then it also includes what Slice does in order to upsell the customer to buy more food, and what we do following the order to get the customer to come back and reorder. Our job is to get them to come back and reorder more frequently. So when you think about it, it's like there's also savings, right? Because if an order is coming through Slice, you don't have to answer the phone. So, you don't need as many people answering the phone. So it's not, I think people kind of think of it as like, this is what I'm paying for an order. But really, what people are paying for is a flat fee for Slice to be their telephone, plus their customer service, plus their marketing, all in one, plus the technology, all in one for this one flat fee per order.
I appreciate two things from that is that you don't charge anything under 10 because it pisses me off when I have to when I only want a small pizza and then I have to meet DoorDash's $12 minimum in order to get my Dash Pass. If I order $11 through DoorDash, they'll charge me $5. But if I for their services for the low order, but if I order $1 more, like if I get a soda, that's all waived, which is crazy. But then the good thing is that, it's a flat fee. So even if you have a bigger order, pizzerias are keeping more of that.
Yeah, so here's the beauty in our model. A typical phone order for a pizza shop, because it's coming in very reactive, the customer's ordering based on memory. Um, Pizzerias rarely upsell the customer, rarely introduce them to other products that are data driven. Like our analytics knows what products go with others and like what's most likely to be up purchased in essence. And and so a phone order is about $20 all in as an order value. That is what is the average order value of a phone order coming into a shop. A slice order is $38. And the $38 is because one, our entire user interface is designed for a pizza shop. So there's transparent toppings on every product. Like when a customer calls a pizza shop, they're not thinking about how do I add toppings to some product. But we know that we've added toppings to every product. And so it is more likely that a consumer adds pepperoni or adds extra cheese to some product because that option is presented to them in a way that's just super convenient. And convenience always wins. Once they add a product, our menus are sorted based on what we believe will be most likely to be purchased. And then there's a dedicated screen on Slice that is designed for upselling. So in essence, we'll introduce some of the most popular products as add-ons, add a screen right before checkout, and then you've got Apple Pay, ability to pay with PayPal, all of these super convenient ways to get the customer to purchase. And so when you add all of this up, it's about $38 per order. And so when you do the math, it's like, okay, I could either have orders come through the phone. They'll be about $20. It'll cost me money to answer the phone. Once I get this customer, I won't know who they really are. So the likelihood that I'll be able to communicate with this customer directly after the order, that's not possible in order like to get them to reorder in a week. So you give up all of these capabilities and a higher average order value, and you take on the cost of taking the order. Um, and that's, I think, the most inefficient channel, which is the phone. And you can trade it off for $38, a customer service team, a CRM team that's going to help this customer come back. And obviously, we spoke about the upselling. And the difference is, $2.50. I would argue that would have been the cost of answering the phone anyway. And so it's just, for me, I think, a really powerful model. But I think most people don't understand it well. We haven't done a really good job at communicating how this price came to be, and why it's more valuable than, phone orders that are coming in where you're paying for them anyway in some other shape or form.
Okay, then let's break that down a little bit more, because to me, 250 is not a lot at all from someone who orders regularly, because I find so much value in it, right? When I can save myself time and have, yesterday, I ordered boba. We were coming from the lake. I could have driven 10 minutes to go get the boba and then 20 minutes back to my house, 10 minutes in the opposite direction. Instead, we ordered boba when we left the park. It got to me in 25 minutes. So with that extra 15 minutes that I got to take a shower after the park, put away all my stuff, gave me clarity in my mind. Boom. Value. I find that easy.
Yeah. And by the way, the cost I'm talking about, this is the cost to the shop. It's not a cost we're adding to the consumer. This is what the shop pays an all in for an order that's coming through the Slice platform that we're managing for them.
Okay. So let's just establish the fact that there is value in services like this, whether you're on the consumer side or the business side. But let's really break down the value that I see when you're with what you're getting. Like you said, it costs somebody to hire. It costs to hire somebody on the phone. And a lot of times people don't even answer the phone anymore. So that pisses off the customer.
Yeah, we have this data. We know that about 22% of phone calls go unanswered. So that alone is probably, so that's about 15% of their daily revenue. That alone would pay for Slice times 5. So just this idea that like I can move all my orders to Slice, while there's this cost associated with every order, the incremental revenue you're getting by just not having to think about answering the phone, it pays for itself times 5. And we haven't even gotten to these other value adds.
Let's go out to the other value adds. So when you have someone who answers the phone, whether it's you or the person that you hired, how many times are they gonna ask, "Oh, do you want to add dessert? Do you want to get a soda? Do you want to try our other special?" Right? When things aren't automated and when people aren't, when selling doesn't come naturally to someone, are they just gonna take your order and hang up? Most likely, right?
Yeah, and so most likely, I think that's one too. Like on a Friday night, on a Saturday night, it's so busy at the shop. If a phone person has to sit there and try and upsell a person, there's another line ringing that you're not getting to. And so, in simple form, the number one bottleneck for a pizza shop isn't the oven. Like it isn't capacity to make the food. The number one bottleneck is the telephone, is the ability to capture orders and upsell customers consistently every single time. And that's what the Slice product, that again, it's not our product, it's the shop's product that we've built. That's what that product does. And that's why I think it's been so powerful and um, a leading driver of our success.
Okay. Final thing, retargeting. Like some people don't even know what that means. I have very little understanding. So can you break that down a little bit more to me and also talk about what a CRM is and means to a independent pizzeria?
Yeah, so I'll start with CRM. So CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. This is the end customer, not the shop. So it's the shop's customers. By the way, our customers aren't Slices, they are the shop's customers. Slice is completely transparent with our customer information. With every order, the customer's name, phone number, address, all the information is presented. These are, without a doubt, the pizzeria customers that Slice has earned the right to help manage. And we're managing it on behalf of the shops. Customer relationship management means, you know, how do you engage with your customers following that first order? So you get a customer who's ordering for the first time from you. Okay, what happens after? In the past, what would happen is they would call by telephone. You would take their order. You'd have some of the basic information, write it down, and you make the food, you deliver, and you're done. That's it, right? Like, I don't think any pizzeria got back on the phone a week later and said, "Hey, it's time to reorder." I don't know that that was part of the process. It doesn't happen. The form of, let's call it customer relationship management that pizzerias are most used to is mailing menus. So they would mail a menu out to their community. That is, in essence, the way that they try to remain in contact with customers who have, ordered from them in the past. And every pizzeria owner knows this. You would mail out a bunch of menus, and then for the next couple of weeks, you'd be super busy. And then it declines over time because how often can you really mail menus? And then you do it again 3 months later, and so on and so forth. What Slice does is says, look, it's 22. Consumers are constantly on their phones. They're constantly on apps. And if we can get this customer to move from phone to online, we now have a direct relationship with this customer in real time. We can communicate to them anytime for free. In essence, for free, as in we can send out a push notification, we can send out a text message, we can send out an email, and we can tell this customer anything that we want that we believe is relevant to that customer. So that's one. Two, every customer isn't the same. So even in this digital world, what most small businesses are used to is saying, I'm going to aggregate this mailing list and I'm going to email blast or text blast. We love those words. Email blast these customers with some discount or coupon. Well, that is a one size fits all approach. And not every customer is created the same. In fact, every single one of them is very unique. So as an example, do you want the customer who is ordering from you anyway to now get some 30% discount? Probably not. Those are the regulars. They're ordering from you, they're supporting you, they love your food, and they're doing it every week. They don't want to be annoyed. You don't have to send them a message. They're behaving the way you want them to. On the other side of the spectrum, you have customers who have ordered once and they've never come back. We probably want to be more aggressive with them, aggressive in terms of promotions. So we know that, if they haven't come back within 15 days, the likelihood that they'll return is very low. We kind of know why, because they leave a rating or a review, which is only shared with the shop. And we want to treat them differently. And so, you cannot have a system, a customer relationship management system that is like, here are all my customers, let me talk to them all exactly the same way. You need to have personalization built in. And we've got a world-class data team that just does this and only this nonstop 24/7. And that capability is unlocked for an independent shop, the Justino's Pizza by me or Pizzeria Giove, like they get this capability automatically. And I think that's just so powerful. And that's not coming to them with an extra cost. It's all built into the same cost structure.
That is cool. That is really cool. That whole, segmenting of your audience. I've heard that term before. I've tried that term before in a different business. that I've run, but to really see it in pizza makes sense. Like for me, I'm going to my favorite pizzerias every other Friday. I don't need a 30% coupon because it's already on my schedule. But the person who gets pizza once a month and they have options, they don't have maybe a favorite one, or they have multiple favorites and they're kind of rotating out and they haven't been to this one for a while, they get that 30% coupon, they're going to go.
Spot on. I mean, you said it really well. There are a lot of customers who order once per month from shops, and what we call is like that's a customer who's ordering 12 times a year. It's our job to figure out how to help them order 18 times a year. And that is, by the way, if you get every customer to do that, if you get every customer to go from 12 to 24 times a year, so instead of once a month, once every 2 weeks, we can double your business. But owners are so used to thinking about getting only new customers to grow their business. Very few really think about the fact that they can double their business simply through their existing customer base if they made that their focus. And in fact, that is probably a much more valuable place to look at than only and always focused on how do I get new customers. No. Take your existing customers, create a personalized experience for each one, communicate with them regularly, and get them to order one extra time per month. Your business will literally double. And it'll be the same people, the people you know and love, the people you have a relationship with.
I imagine this app isn't perfect. What are some of the things that you're hearing that are a little bit more difficult? And maybe I just want to point out one that I thought of as you were kind of describing the add-ons, was that like if people have the freedom to create their own pie and it's enticing for them, like I can add 30 toppings potentially, and that can kind of mess things up. You get any sort of pushback from that or anything else that you may have heard of?
No, we actually don't. From a consumer standpoint, it's actually the relationship between the consumer and the shop is much stronger with an online transaction. Why is that the case? Because all of the behavior is transparently documented for both sides. So, as an example, the consumer who's building this crazy pizza with a number of these toppings, like they know that that's what they ordered. There's a record of it, and there is no, after the fact, the consumer can't call the shop and say, "I didn't order this. I ordered something different," because there's a transparent record from the consumer. There's also a transparent record on the shop side. And the consumer takes responsibility, much more responsibility online for their ordering behavior than they do if they were to call. When they call, again, this happens all the time. Consumers don't like what they got, and you can call it what it is, but they'll call and try and blame it on somebody. They'll blame it on your employee. They'll say, "Hey, I called and I ordered a large pie with half pepperoni, half meatball, and I got a large pie with full pepperoni." And that's your employee's fault. And now you, the pizzeria owner, need to make it right. That happens often, and it's not always true. The customer may have actually very well ordered a pepperoni pie, but there is no record. And so this discrepancy and this tension between shop and customer exists a lot on the phone. It does not exist on online. So I would say, even if a consumer is creating some like wild connection of toppings, the transparency and the documentation of each transaction holds each party accountable for what the end result is. The challenges we mostly face as Slice, and this is the mission I'm trying to, embark on over the next handful of months, is helping shop owners understand what Slice is about. We're not a third-party marketplace. We're not like another Grubhub for pizza. What Slice is trying to do is work with each individual shop to help them move off of phone to digital and help grow their business through the methods that we spoke about. I think a lot of pizzeria owners look at Slice and they're like, "Well, that's Slice. It's not me. It's not mine." And I think it's really important for all of us to understand and recognize that what we've built is for the shop. It is a an incredibly powerful tool that I want shops to know and understand that this is their platform and it's theirs to use. And our team is just constantly working on these products to improve the performance of the shop. We try to improve the traffic to their website. We try and improve the conversion rate on the website, and we try and improve the retention rate of the customers that are coming through that either that website or the Slice app. I would say that's the number one challenge.
So you're saying people don't essentially get it at first.
Correct. Most shops don't get it. Most shops are like, yeah, let me join Slice, and I'm going to get some orders, and those are like Slice's orders, Slice's customers, and I'm just going to run my business here on this other side and try and figure out where I can get a website where I can do online ordering on my own. And and I think that that's a partially our mistake because of the way that we've communicated Slice in some capacity when we initially talked to shop owners. But I would say we need to merge those two worlds and say, wait, like Slice has built world-class websites that perform better than any website for any small business because we've been doing this for years. And what a shame it is for an owner to go and get a website off of GoDaddy that is not going to convert well at all, doesn't have any of the upselling capabilities and all these features we've built. In essence, we're just leaving so much value on the table because Slice is thought of as a different party than my business instead of, okay, this is a core part of my business.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, not there. I don't know how many pizzerias are out there that, took a website development class, have any experience in UX design, UI design, backend, all of that stuff. And to be able to learn all of that prior to or while running your pizzeria seems extremely rare, right? Or it's a challenge. It's doable, but it seems hard.
Yeah, and then how often is it being updated? How often do people iterate on the experience to increase the conversion rate of the customer? And the conversion rate is important. It's like in the physical world, it's the equivalent of how many people walk into your shop and buy versus how many walk in and then leave. If you have the wrong website, most likely out of 10 people that walk into your shop, only one buys. If you have the right experience, if 10 people walk into your shop, you can get half of them to buy. It's that alone means for the right website, you may be getting 50% more business versus if you have the wrong website. But owners don't think of it that way. They just think of it in the sense that, this is a website I created and it's mine versus a website that's been created for me. And I think that's something that I'm trying to help owners see that there actually is no difference. Just the Slice version or the one that's powered by Slice is one that's being worked on by a team constantly, specifically for pizzerias.
Are you suggesting that owners hold their websites in tandem with yours, or are you saying completely, or is the ideal case scenario in your view to drop my homemade website and go exclusively with Slice? What is your ideal vision?
I may be biased here, but I am pretty confident that the websites built by Slice for pizzerias, and there are thousands of shops that do use Slice as their website. I can almost guarantee that those websites perform better than a quote unquote homemade website using like GoDaddy or something where nothing is measured, the conversion rate is never optimized. But I think what's happening is, some owners want more personalization on their site, which is fair. I just think the number one job of a website is to create buyers of your product. And that's the only thing Slice is focused on is how to get websites to convert traffic, visitors, and turn them into buyers. Nothing else matters. Literally nothing else matters. All that matters is how many buyers can we create. So that's kind of the position we're in.
It's easier it's an easier concept for me to grasp at least the top level of it. I'm sure there are a million other things I don't understand, but from just like a big picture, I think it seems super reasonable if you're to use a platform like Slice. I don't know if you have any other competitors, but to really digitize your business, because a lot of operators grew up in an age where none of this stuff existed. Do you find that it's more of a generational thing, or how is it skewing on like people on the app or operators? Are they younger, older, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I would say it's two things. One is definitely generational. So I think older school operators tend to be hesitant about adopting this digital world. And I think that's definitely changing, especially during COVID. I think this idea that digital is just a nice to have changed into a mentality where digital is actually a must have. I would say that's one. Two, I think Slice needs to do a better job at articulating the value prop of our platform. I do think rightfully so, a lot of owners want their independence to really shine in their online presence. And so the question is, how do we make sure that we help them really tell their story, and balancing that with the more quantitative aspects, which is how do we get really high conversion rates on these websites? But I think it's a combination of, generational sort of gaps, but also uh, owners want ownership of the end product. Just the way they want ownership of the end product on the pizza side, they want to do the same on the website side. And I think that's a bit of a trade off that people have to go through.
Is there a world where you see that they have some creative control over their website, but still using Slice as like the foundation of it?
Absolutely. So that's the world we're heading in. We just launched shop websites that have some creative diversity, in the sense that you can add your own logo. You obviously have your own menu. You have your own individual information about your shop. And we're now adding the ability to change color format, other formats. You can add more pages. You can tell your story. So without a doubt, we're moving in that direction.
Yeah, I see it like Slice, incorporates tracking of the data and making sure that the options that independents can choose will convert, but of the options that they can choose, kind of like an Elementor or a Squarespace, all of those things will work. It's just a matter of picking which ones the operator wants.
Totally. Exactly.
Hey, Pizza Pal. I just want to say thank you for listening to the show so far, and thank you for making it all the way here. Before we get on to the end of the show, I want to remind you all to please leave a rating on the podcast. You could do it right now. Just go ahead and click 5 stars if you're listening on Spotify or Apple. It will greatly help the show. I appreciate you so much. And if you're looking to buy an uni or a second uni, the affiliate link helps the show so much. So please use that anytime you're considering a new oven. All right, enjoy the rest of the show. Why do you do this?
That's an easy one. I think, I touched on it a little bit in the beginning, but I have a lot of family members that own small businesses, both in the pizza space and outside of it. I truly believe in that a world full of independence and authentic variety and options for all of us is a more beautiful world, a more colorful world, which I think just makes life better. And so for me, it's like, how do we create a platform that accelerates the probability of success of these independents? How do we make sure that in 10 years there are more independent shops versus less? How do we give people an opportunity to own their own destiny, control their own destiny? I mean, a lot of immigrants, my family immigrated here in 1990. Most people who come here from other countries, immigrants, like they have some money they tend to go into the hospitality industry. A lot of the times it's, work inside restaurants, or, their dream is to open up their own restaurant. They don't necessarily maybe have the background or the qualifications, or whatever education they went through in their own country is not accepted here. Like I have family members who are doctors in Macedonia, but when they come to the U.S., that those credentials are no longer accepted, and they have to sort of settle for more labor jobs and things like that. And so, um, sorry, I want to say low wage jobs. And so, I think a collection of these reasons just make it super important. Okay, how do you help somebody turn their passion into a business? How do you help somebody really tell their story? How do you help somebody bring, by the way, some delicious products, incredible products out to market and share those with the world? How do you do it in a way so that they're not just pouring their life savings and then in 6 months they're out of business? That's in fact the reality today in most cases. Um, and yeah, if we want to change all of that, then the only thing we can do is, I've said this from day one, is to create the same economies of scale that exist in other models and make those available to independents. Um, that's kind of the main reason why I do it. Our mission is to keep local thriving, and I say keep, right. It's not to make it thrive. It's I think communities already have a really awesome, diverse set of independent options, authentic options. I just don't want the world to get to a place where, again, the only burger is a McDonald's burger and the only pizza is a Domino's pizza. Like that would just be that'd be pretty sad. I don't know if you would agree, but I think you would.
100%, maybe 110% agree with that. And everything you said kind of just brought me back as to why I do this. I get a lot of joy and happiness when I read a message saying, you helped me um, open up my pizzeria, or you helped me troubleshoot this part of my business. And I'm just like, God, thank you. Right. It's what makes the work worth it. The late night hours editing, or the back and forth with guests who cancel, et cetera, et cetera.
I
But
agree.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah, no, we can't have a world where it's just the big change, for sure. Um, this, the one thing I wanted to ask is, maybe you could give us an insight that would change someone's life who is either in their pizzeria right now or looking to start one up, maybe expand. Like, what is something that we are all missing here that you have that's super obvious to you?
Um, it's incredibly obvious to me because this is the way I've helped, or I should say, I've scaled Slice. Um, and that insight is that we have to accept what we're really good at, and we have to accept what we're not good at all, or what we won't have time for, or the things that we know that we're not going to be able to do in business. And that's any business. It could be Slice, as I operate and scale the company. It could be a pizza shop. It could be, launching and scaling a podcast. And so the moment that we become really honest and objective with ourselves about the things that we'll be able to do and the things that we won't, is the moment, at least for me, that the trajectory of my business of Slice changed. Why? Because all the things that I knew that I would not enjoy doing, maybe I was good at it, but I didn't enjoy doing, I didn't have time for, I had no idea how to do. I went and partnered, in essence, hired world-class people to help me do it. And and that is how Slice went from, in essence, I was operating alone with a very small team, to today a team of almost 1,000 people globally. And as you scale, and I'm not saying go and hire 1 million people, some of the people that have come in to help us have been employees that we've hired. Some of the people have been partners. I'll give you an example. We are one of the early partners of a company called Stripe, which does our payment processing. Um, okay, I had a choice. I can go and build my own payment processing, aspect of the business, or I can partner with one of the best companies in the world who knows how to do it really well, and they can help me do that. and we have a really great relationship. The same, I would say, for communications, where we work with a company called Twilio. So, in essence, in any business, I think this is where I would say for pizzeria owners, really be very honest with the things that you want to do, know how to do, you think you're good at, and then find the right partners to help you with the rest. And that'll give you the autonomy and the sense of, I think, joy that comes back to the main reason why you opened up the shop to begin with. So imagine you're a pizzeria owner and you're a really good chef. You should be spending 80% of your time innovating on like the actual product, because that's who you are. Or imagine you are a great hospitality leader, that perhaps you were a manager at another location, at another restaurant, you saved up money, you launched your own shop, and you really enjoy connecting with customers. Do that and hire a really good pizza chef, hire a really good, person to do marketing, technology, et cetera, et cetera. But in essence, you've got to be honest with yourself on the things you know you'll do, and then partner slash hire the people to do the rest. That'll give you superpowers. In essence, your original shop will probably be much more successful, but also it'll give you time to focus on growth and perhaps launching a second location.
Gosh, wow. Thank you. Find out your superpower and use it. Great answer. Before I ask you my final question, how is the How You Slice It podcast doing?
Oh, it's going really well. It's so much fun, and thanks for mentioning it. We just finished our first season. The goal of the How You Slice It podcast from day one has been that I think we share this, which is why I'm excited to be here today. I believe that there are some really powerful and inspiring stories within the pizza industry. And those stories and those voices don't have a platform. Most people have never heard of them, but we hear them all the time because we work directly with these shop owners. And so I wanted to create a platform, in essence, expand the platform to give people a voice from the industry so that others can learn from some of these great operators, or operators who maybe failed, or industry experts who have something to bring forward, who can help operators become more successful. But look, as a founder, I have a really great community of other founders that make me feel like I am not alone in what I'm doing. And that's a very rewarding and it's a feeling that is empowering, because at least I know I'm not the only one going through whatever I'm going through. How do we do that for the pizza industry? How do we do that for pizza operators? How do we give them an opportunity to make them feel like they're not alone? And that's, again, it all goes back to the core, which is we want to make shop owners, even though they're independent, we want to make them feel like they are not alone, that they're just not in it by themselves. And so that's what How You Slice It is all about. Our team has done a really good job, and hopefully, we'll continue to have some great operators on there. And I'm looking forward to you joining me as a guest, and then I'm going to ask some questions in return.
Oh gosh, I would love that.
Cool.
It sounds like a fun podcast so far, and many congratulations on launching it. I wish you all the success there.
Thank you so much.
Ilir, you've been gracious with your time. I want to give you the space to just ask you this final question.
Sure.
What do you want to leave the audience with today?
The pizza industry and operating a pizzeria is one of the most difficult jobs in the world, without a doubt. It's challenging. Every single day is a new surprise. Every single day is just so unpredictable. But the thing that I want everyone to understand is that the work that you're doing in your small shop is just an incredibly important role. It plays an anchor role in every community that you operate in. And so while many customers may not say this and some may, just a huge thank you to the pizza industry and the operators that are in their shop day in and day out, 12 hours per day. It is, for so many people, the one part of the neighborhood that makes them feel more at home, because of the consistency and sort of the presence of these pizza shops that are the cornerstones, like the anchors of every neighborhood around the country.
Beautifully said. Ilir, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.